Hi everybody, Jen here, and I am actually doing a little bit of a different type of layout for you today. I know most of my layouts come together pretty quickly, or what seem to be pretty quickly in the scrapping world, and I wanted to show you how this is my not so quick side here. I had layered this all up on this gold paper and totally changed my mind in a little while, so I wanted to show you what I had initially kind of played with and how I'm going to keep playing, changing my mind here, and finally what the final layout looks like. So this is a photo that was taken in November when I went to Universal Studios to go see the new Harry Potter world. And it is actually the dragon on top of the Gringotts Bank, and it blows fire. So I really liked the color of the gold with that fire-breathing dragon. So I knew that I wanted to incorporate that piece of that gold and white striped cardstock somehow into this layout because it matched the fire from the dragon's mouth so great, and it was a super cloudy day, so that the only color in the photo really is the fire from the dragon. Initially, I was thinking I was going to back it on the full sheet of paper, and then I said, okay, well, let's see how it'll look as a mat around the edge of the 12 by 12 cardstock. Didn't like that, so finally I cut down these 2 strips of gold, and that gives just enough of the gold without being super overpowering in the layout. I wouldn't say this turned out to be my favorite layout that I did with this kit, but it turned out okay and a lot better than I thought it was going to turn out in the initial portion, the initial part of the layout when I was first playing with it. So underneath the photo, I have layered a piece of that We Are Memory Keepers paper that had all the words on it, as well as a piece of black and white, no, not white, black and clear, like acetate. It's black polka dot. And that came in the Studio Calico add-on that I had added to this hip kit. And it's, I think, Doodlebug. So I tried to use up, I think I ended up using up the entire piece of acetate. Then I just layered up a piece of gray cardstock to the bottom right of the photo, just to add a little bit more color and depth to the photo shadowing. And I really didn't do well with lining that up, I don't think. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't have to move it too much. It didn't look straight to me, and I think it was because of the polka dots. But in the end, it ended up being straight. So I'm just gluing that piece of gold down and trimming up the edge so it doesn't hang off. And then I'm going to attach my photo here and then start working on embellishing around the photo. So I tried to use the acetate in a way that I could attach it, and this kit as well as the click kit where I had a green, very similar piece of acetate. It was just green polka dots, so that it actually becomes a layer so that I don't have to worry about how am I going to attach this thing down. So initially I pull off this piece of washi tape, and I don't think, does it make it on? I don't think it makes it on to this video. It might. Maybe. Let's see. So it does make it onto the layout at the top, right at the top of my photo. Then I take this sticker sheet that is from the hashtag, I think it's hashtag Happy from Webster's Pages. It's their brand new collection, or one of their brand new collections. And I pull out a couple of these gold accents as well as some of the stickers that are teal. Because I know I want to pull out a little bit of that teal color that's behind those words in the Webster's Pages sheet of paper that I matted, or not Webster's Pages, the We Are Memory Keepers black lettered sheet there, square that I layered behind my photo. That's what I'm trying to say. Then I pull out a couple of these chipboard elements, several arrows, as well as I try to make this frame work, but it doesn't on this layout. You'll see me pull out another frame in a minute, and I will make that one work. So back to the little dragon there. It was the coolest thing. It was in the brand new section of Universal Studios, which is supposed to be Diagon Alley, and we got there fairly early in the morning, and I really wanted to get on that new ride before the line got nuts. So I was in line, and I didn't even like kind of look at the top of the bank or the dragon or anything like that. And my mom, who does not do roller coasters or anything that makes her motion sick, so she actually sat outside, and the line was over an hour. So, and it was pretty cold out. It was November, and we had fleece coats, and she had gloves on. But so she sat outside and she found this spot that was so perfect. You could watch the dragon breathe fire, and then it would give you a blast of heat at the same time. So she found it very amusing to sit there and get heat warmed up every time he breathed the fire. But anyway, I didn't get out of that ride. I had no idea that that thing even existed until I was out of the ride and we had had lunch and all of this, and I saw it breathe fire, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. My mom goes, you didn't know about that? I'm like, no, I had no idea. So I had to wait around another 10 minutes. I think it was every like 7 or 10 minutes that it breathed fire. So I had to wait around to get a photo. So we were just kind of walking around the streets, kind of wasting the time so we could wait for it to breathe again. And it was really neat. I have to say Universal did a great job with that element in the new area of the theme park. So while I was chit-chatting, I did find another frame to work, as well as I backed it with a little piece of wood grain paper because it kind of was busy on the other backgrounds. I'm pulling out my title here, I'm spelling out my title here with these stickers that came in the Studio Calico kit, and I think they're part of the Craft Market kit. Or Craft Market line, and I pull out the word "so awesome," and then I'm going to use the gold stickers from this sticker sheet that is from Webster's Pages, and those stickers were horrible. They weren't fully cut, so I had to like peel them off and then cut them, and I'm going to spell out the word "totally" in brackets with that portion of the stickers. So my title is going to read "So Totally Awesome." And I'm using that as my title because I think that's what I said when I saw that, or when it went off. I said, oh my God, that's so totally awesome. And my mom was laughing at me because she was like, you sound like in one of those commercials. So I had to use that as the title. It's, you know, at least on something for that trip, because then after I said that, I had to make a point to use the word totally as much as I possibly could, because my mom thought she was making fun of me and thought it was funny. I don't usually talk like that. But we were laughing the whole time. So I'm pulling out my ruler here because clearly I can't line anything up to save my life. So once I get the first two lined up, it makes it quite easy to line up the rest, and the rest go pretty quickly. And you'll see me having to trim down these little ruffles of edges, and I do end up gluing some of them, because when I was trying to like pull them up and pull them up and trim everything, I had ended up handling them a lot and they lost their adhesive. So I was testing the thickers here to see if I would need to add extra adhesive, and I was debating it because they seem pretty stuck on, but I know not to trust them at all. So then as soon as I tried pulling up a couple of them, they came right up. But the ones at the bottom that are actually stuck to the acetate, they were harder to pull up. So I probably could have left them alone and been totally fine. And like everybody else, I have gone on to those fine line glue bottles that you can find at Hobby Lobby. I didn't get mine at Hobby Lobby. I ordered mine offline, and I actually want a larger needle on it. I find that it's actually too thin. I think I have the 20 gauge, and I actually would love an 18 or 16 gauge. So this is so awful. I'm a nurse. I am thinking about grabbing a 18 gauge needle from work off of like an IV start, and using a pair of like the Tim Holtz scissors and just snipping off the needle part, and that'll make it an 18 gauge, and it'll connect perfectly fine to that bottle. So next time I am in there and thinking about it, I might grab one and see if I can make it work. So I have a larger nozzle. I'm just finding that the 20 gauge, the Scotch quick dry adhesive is too thick to make it through the 20 gauge. The glossy accents, completely fine, but the thicker white glue, I just need a little bit larger. So I'm hoping that the 18 gauge needle will do what I want it to do. Anyway, I realized that the top left-hand corner of the page looked very, very plain, so I want to make like a cluster at the top of the page. So I cut down a piece of that We Are Memory Keepers Love Notes paper and use this teal tag and start layering up pieces here to make a little cluster at the top. And I used a couple of these exclusive hip kit die cuts, and I think I said in my last layout, I loved them. I loved getting them, and I kind of am bummed that there are none in this month's kit. I really hope that she keeps putting them in because I really had fun with them. They were different than other things we've gotten, different sayings, and they were a different appearance, and they coordinated so well with the soft colors that she usually puts in the kit, and I really, really enjoyed using them. I also am applying this piece of chipboard at the top, and I'm adding a couple of these Craft Market puffy stickers, which I had a love-hate relationship with these things. I like the appearance. I hated the fact that they didn't stick. They were like all over the place. The adhesive was horrible, and I didn't discover it until several uses in, or several layouts in, so I had all these little puffy stickers all over my floor, because I usually just stack my layouts for every kit on the floor next to me, and then I go put them in the correct either iris case or album depending on what the year is. And I had all these little pieces of puffy stickers all over the floor, and I had to go back and figure out where they belonged. So in the process here, I added a couple more of those puffy stickers, a couple more flat stickers, and some of these chipboard arrows to point directly to the fire from the dragon's mouth. So I really liked how that came out, and a couple more of these puffy arrows as well kind of points to the focal point of the photo. And at this point, I'm almost done. I do add a couple more final touches here, and I'm going through my sticker sheets one last time to see if I can pull anything out. I am changing my iPad show I was watching over there, and I appear to have walked away for a moment. I can't imagine. Maybe, you know what I think? I went to go get my iPad charger. That's what I did. And then I just cut out a little bit there. So this is where I realize that I need to glue down all of these silly puffy stickers, or else they're not going to stick. So I'm going to glue them all down, and I think that will finish up my layout, except for putting the date, which I used Teresa Collins Studio Gold little tile stickers. So I'm going to finish gluing these down, add the date, and that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.